two, one. Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 132. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty, Kevin Ardolph. If you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and blue sky at us. I'm a Master B on Blue Sky. Sean is Nasty Billy 22, and Kevin is at Emerald Bowler. Subscribe to us on YouTube and tell us what you think in the comments below. I have an opening question for my esteemed colleagues here. So I wanted to pose a question because I was thinking about it recently. What teams have you seen play in person that have played for a championship that season? Not necessarily won, but played for a championship. So I know three for sure. So the only one I've seen that I have actually won a championship was the Seahawks in 2013. I went to the game against the Vikings that year, watched them beat the Vikings. Then in 2015-16, I watched the Warriors play the Blazers in Portland. Warriors ended up losing that series to LeBron James after being up 3-1. And then last year, I went to the Oilers versus the Kraken. The Oilers made the Stanley Cup, and just like this year, failed to close the deal against Florida. Sean, what do you got?
Well, I guess then 2 years ago I saw the Oilers um, as well. I also, now I think about it, Kevin, we went to the Saints game that year, right?
Yes.
And then I also went to the game where the Rams ended the LOB and then went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. Went to that one. I saw the where they massacred us in Seattle and it was raining. So yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah, just the Seahawks technically.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I actually think I have one more. I think I was on the field taking photos of the game Rams Seahawks the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. Now that I remember that. So I have four, but only seen one actual winner. So if you've seen a team play in person that has played for a championship, let us know in the comments below. Gentlemen, let's touch on some very brief Seahawks news, and that's right. Michael Dickson, aka Big Dick Dixon, is the highest paid punter in the NFL. The extension is worth $16.2 million with a $10.2 million guaranteed signing bonus and a max value of $16.7 million. This according to Brady Henderson of ESPN. Kevin is our resident punting expert. So Kevin, what do you think of this deal?
Well, according to the Punters Union, it's coming out to be pretty awesome. Um, how many years was it? I didn't see. Was it 3 years?
4 year.
For
4 year.
4 year
Four,
extension.
yeah. 4 year extension with only 16 mil, so that's about 4 year. It's not bad. Especially for a dude that can put you like inside the 20 each time, like special teams and position and field matter. Well, depending on your defense, but with this defense being good, you're better. It definitely helps. Um, so yeah, I'd give it like a. I mean, is it crazy? No, but I'd give it like a B plus. Yeah.
Sean, what do you think?
Do you guys consider the Cowboys Super Bowl contenders?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm just going by top punters. And I got to go all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The Eagles, minus the Lions. The Lions are four. For a team who's a contender for a Super Bowl to pay a punter. I'm not saying it's like the end of the world, but the money, Dixon's probably the best punter in the league, so deserves to be the most. But I will say there's I don't say correlation equals causation, but the best teams don't pay punters. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's pretty startling. The first entire half, I mean, we got the Steelers. I mean, there's not like all like bottom teams, but there's like the Steelers, the Falcons, the Colts, the Raiders, the Jags. Like that's why I was like Cowboys maybe, but like yeah, I just it's fine. He's the best punter, but I'm just like, and it's not like Kevin said, it's $4 million. It's not the end of the world, but like man, $2 million on a punter like the Eagles are paying, and then $2 million to spend somewhere else would be kind of nice. But I think this season, real quick on this tangent, I think we're going to run the ball a bunch and play good defense. And in that case, a punter is important, and so is a kicker. So if we're going to play that style for this year while we're kind of rebuilding, makes sense. But if you got the high flying offenses where you're scoring a bunch of touchdowns and passing the ball, spend that money with wide receivers and not your punter. Goal is don't punt. So there you go.
Dickson is 29. I think this makes a lot of sense. I don't know how long punters usually last. They probably last a long time, I would
There's a
think, right?
bunch. I mean, I'm looking here at the top half of the league. The lowest is 25, and he's kind of an outlier. Everyone else is like 28 to 31, 32 is the average. So he's like right in the middle here. There's, you get a outlier. The Washington guy's 33. Brian Anger of the Cowboys is 37, but they're all about 28 to 31, and he's right in the middle. So yeah,
Because kickers can skew older sometimes if you
but
still
like
got it.
I
But
feel
punters, I
like
don't think that's the
kicker,
case, right?
yeah, kickers could be older. Punters, you've actually kind of got to run around a little bit more. You got to do a little bit much. I know it's not much, but you are out on the field a little bit. Um, so yeah, yeah, they tend to be a little younger. There is Thomas Morstead who's 39. I guess you got a
Oh, wow.
39. You got a 39 and a 37-year-old. Everyone else is 35 or younger out there running around. You
I
got like
mean,
five or so 35-year-olds, but everybody else is 32 and younger. So about
I
four
mean,
guys.
it seems like this kind of locks him in for
This will
probably
probably be his
what seems
last
like the rest of
contract.
his career. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
his last
he'll probably be
contract. So,
34 by the time this is end. I mean, if he's still going, he hasn't slowed down at all. So I mean, but and he's
and
right in
like
his
Sean
prime.
said, I would agree he's probably the best punter. Probably slight bias there, but I think he's probably
It's
the
it's
one of the
hard.
best punters in the league.
It's hard to grade a punter because they're always like pins inside the 20. I'm like, well, what if you're punting from the 5? You know what I mean? Like, it just.
Some guys have legs too, and he definitely
But
has a
again,
leg.
like if you're kicking it that far, they're gonna return it because you kicked it that far. It's a
Well,
great
yeah,
punt, but you still. So I'm like, it's hard to kind of grade how good a punter is. But I feel like to Kevin's point, Kevin nailed it. Like what was it, like a year ago when he talked about quarterbacks and being in tiers. It's punters have to be graded in tiers because they're so dependent on the field position already. I mean, I could probably kick the ball 30 yards if I'm punting on my own 50. Like stand up the 50 and punt it, like toe punt it to get a touchback there. But I cannot do what Michael Dickson does and punt it from his 10 all the way back to their 20. So yeah, that's where your bread is kind of buttered. But there's skill within the get it high and all that stuff inside there. But skill that like we don't know about. So they're tiers, and he's definitely a top tier regardless of where he falls in that top tier. So
well, I think it's well worth it. Obviously the money could be spent elsewhere, but you can say that about a lot of things. So, also in the Mike McDonald quote, he calls him Dicko, which is that his nickname? I don't
I
think
don't
that's
know.
his nickname,
I
but
don't
maybe
know.
that's what Mike McDonald
Maybe
calls
that's
him.
their
I don't
nickname
know.
now. Maybe it's his
Yeah,
nickname.
Dicko, Dicko. Okay, yeah, fair enough. This is Seattle. You can have a nickname like that. All right, so let's talk about some sports that are actually happening. And that is the Seattle Mariners. That's right. They won today. Oh, 6-5. I hadn't actually checked that. So the Mariners have won their last three games, and took two of three from Chicago, just this past weekend. Lost the series to Boston, at home, previously, and then swept the Cleveland Guardians right before that. So, Sean, what have you thought of the Seattle Mariners these past couple weeks?
Since our last podcast, it's been awful. Matthew, you left off the Cleveland, and then it was just like a dumpster fire right before that. But where they got into this position because they were flying high real early there for a while, then collapsed like a dying star there for a little bit. They were almost 10 games above 500 and got to 500, so even below 500. So it was pretty rough, but they finally turned around again. Of course, they lose to Arizona, who's under 500. The Angels, who's under 500. Baltimore's under 500. Got swept by Baltimore. Lost to Washington, which I don't know if you guys have seen it. They can't win a game right now. So, oh, they did win today. Okay, there you go. They collapsed like a dying star as well, and we lost to them as well. Lost to Houston as well. So it was just incredibly rough. But they've turned it around their last couple series. Would have been nice to beat Boston there in the middle, but beat Cleveland, lost 2-1 to Boston, then beat up on the Cubs. Other than Hancock, the wind was blowing out. He's a fly ball pitcher. That was going to be a mess from the start. Gave a bunch of runs, but they almost made a comeback and then mashed the next day and then been mashing so far. I saw a stat. It's 5 games, but their team OPS is 980 over 5 games. They're hitting the ball right now. Solano can't get out at some point. I don't know what happened these last 5 games, but he just has 3 hits every game. I don't get it, but I'll take back everything I said if you keep doing it. It's been great very recently, but awful since we last potted. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go here, Kevin. I would pretty much agree. I haven't been able to catch as much baseball as I'd like, but now that all the playoffs are over and baseball is pretty much the only thing I'll be watching a lot more. I watched yesterday's game and then the Chicago game on Sunday. So, you know, the Mariners have been not great, but they're still over 500. They're definitely in the division, and there's going to be
I mean,
ebbs and flows throughout the.
they're in a playoff spot right now. As it ends, they're in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
I mean, only be so bad.
yeah, there are ebbs and flows throughout the season, and I'm sure my other co-hosts are going to talk about this, but it's just so fun to watch Big Dumper right now. It is so fun. Like when he steps up to bat, you're like, he could hit a home run. Like realistically, now he's not going to hit a home run every time, but he's hot right now. I don't know if he hit one today. Did he hit one today?
No,
No.
No. Okay, well, leading the league in home runs, and it's nice to see, especially when I turn on SportsCenter, like he's one of the top stories on SportsCenter because he's leading the league in home runs. And I'm not really watching the MVP race, probably like you guys are, but I would have bet he's top two, top three, I would imagine at this point in terms of the MVP race.
he's two.
Um, yeah,
He's definitely
so
two.
him and Aaron Judge, I would imagine, are probably the only guys. So it's great to see Cal Raleigh doing what he's doing. I am curious, like Dan Wilson as a manager, how much that has impacted him as a player because, Dan Wilson wasn't hitting mashers like Cal is, but there's got to be some sort of influence, I imagine, from Dan Wilson translating to what Cal Raleigh's game has become because he hits from both sides of the plate. He's effective, and not only that, he's a great defensive catcher as well. So it's we've had some pretty solid catchers over the years since Dan Wilson, and Cal is. I think at this point we could probably say the best catcher we've had since Dan Wilson.
Okay,
I
okay.
think that's
Before we go
fair.
to Kevin, what is Dan Wilson's record for most home runs in a season when he played for his entire career?
I don't think it's much. Maybe 25. I'm gonna say.
Kevin,
I want to say it's 28.
it is 18, and Cal is 32 home runs at the
Wow.
halfway mark. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, he's much better than Dan Wilson was
And he has the most home runs for a catcher before the All-Star break, passing
ever.
Johnny Bench. So
Mhm.
I mean, that's when you're in that conversation with Johnny Bench, that's pretty good company to keep. So sounds like the Mariners are also getting healthier, which is good. I forgot to put Logan Gilbert in my pitching lineup when he finally came off the IL. So I'm out of fantasy. So Kevin, I'm a free win if you play me again this year. So feel free. Um, Kevin, what have you thought?
Yeah, like Sean mentioned, it was kind of a poop show there for a little bit, and then yeah, Mariners have kind of come back. I just gotta say, I gotta call somebody out on this Mariners squad, and that's Kyle Raleigh just sucking all the time, just completely, just hitting home runs. Like you got what he's doing so far, he needs to double it. He should have been at 60 by now. Like, come on, like there's no excuse. Hit at least two home runs a game. Come on, like, get it together. Um, no, everything's been, but like I said, we've been doing better since, of course. Uh, yeah, the Nationals one was kind of hard to watch, and so was Boston. And then getting swept by Baltimore is not really fun. But in Baltimore, it's always kind of a poop show because people could just hit home runs like nobody's been. Hell, I can hit a home run in freaking Baltimore. But yeah, it's just that one wasn't even needed either. Like this one right here, like the game is already gone. He's just like this was just a middle finger to the Twins. Um, and he's just hitting it so like the swing just looks so good. It just so good. Dominic Canzone too over this past weekend. Like he's been crushing balls. Like I've been. Hopefully that dude keeps it up too. And then yeah, Solano. Like turning it around. Hopefully he just stays hot instead of just being a sucky piece of crap like he's been lately. Like, um, pitching has been okay. Kirby was getting roughed up there for a little bit and then he came back. Luis got roughed up a little bit today. That's okay. We still like the bullpen came in and locked that crap down. Bullpen's been pretty solid. Other like Spire's been kind of struggling, but I mean, these are going to be good days, bad days. Bullpen can't be perfect like some people want, completely all the time. They're going to give up runs, but all in all, just keep continuing to do what you do, and then especially with the division games coming up, you definitely got to lock those in. So
Well, as Kevin mentioned, the division they are 4.5 back of Houston right now, but I do want to bring up Cal Raleigh once again because the All-Star voting, he is currently second in the All-Star voting behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr., actually. Wait, no. Sorry, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I was like,
My bad.
what?
My bad. I read the
Yeah.
top of the story and didn't read the entire paragraph. Aaron Judge, then
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh, and he's the only Mariner that is the top vote getter at their position. I don't think that's very surprising. But for you guys, who else do you think is going to be all-star worthy on this team? Sean, what do you think?
Munoz for sure. The issue is like I think Woo. Logan would be if he hadn't got hurt, so he's missed some time. If they're going to hold that against him, that's one thing. But Munoz for sure. Um, yeah, and I think Woo should be the All Stars.
Kevin, what do you think?
No, I was actually going to say the exact same thing.
Solano, the last week of Solano.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Whatever he did to have a 500 OPS to raise it to 700 in 5 games, whatever it is, do every team should do it forever because that's ridiculous. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, probably just those three. Wu has been incredible. Like, um, and I think if Kirby had a full season, got hurt, I think he'd probably be in that conversation. But
if Miller's been hurt all year. He's been on and off and on and off.
yeah,
But
yeah, Miller,
they're all healthy. All five of these starters
yeah,
could
I
be
mean, yeah,
pretty easily. Yeah.
but oh, yeah, I mean that's what you want to see too. Um, thoughts? Because I saw this earlier. Do you want Cal in the home run derby? I'm gonna say no.
I mean, if he wants to participate, go for it. But
I don't.
I do I want him to? On one hand, what if he gets hurt or something? But on the other hand, certainly put him on the map more than he already is. But I, I think that's a player's decision, and if he wants to compete, I go
Yeah,
for it because
it's
I
up
think
to
he can win
whatever
it.
he wants. Don't piss him off. So whatever he wants to do, he's gonna do. Um, yeah, I gotta say though, you talk about Matthew like home runs and MVPs. Can I say like Aaron Judge is MVP? I'm so sorry to anybody else who disagrees. Cal Raleigh's been amazing, second best hitter in baseball, a 193 WRC plus, which takes into fact stadiums and other factors and luck and all that stuff. Aaron Judge is 230, so he's like 30% better than Cal Raleigh is with a bat. So like it is just he's already worth 6 WAR. It's ridiculous. I will say this, like Aaron Judge, if Aaron Judge didn't exist, Cal would have won the AL MVP already. Like I'm not, it's not hyperbole. Let's put it this way: Cal has 32 home runs. Aaron Judge has 28. If you remove Aaron Judge, just remove him, the next highest in the American League is 19 home runs. Cal Raleigh would have won the
Oh,
MVP.
and yeah, American League. Sorry.
Yeah, in the American League. Yeah, Cal Raleigh wins the American League MVP right now if Aaron Judge didn't exist.
Now, to counter Sean's, even though the WRC plus, like football, the MVP is just going to go to home runs. It's going to be
That's
the
what it
home.
sounds like. Yeah.
It's not going to be well. Aaron Judge is going to win it. Like right, if they voted right now, Aaron Judge would clearly win it.
Well, but like I said, it's the WRC plus average. It's always just home run.
Not
Like,
usually. Aaron Judge is batting 100 points higher than Cal Raleigh. He's
oh, I
hitting
know. And I
3-7.
agree, it should be Judge, but like I have a feeling at the end of the day, it's just going to be whoever.
Oh,
Has
I don't think Cal Raleigh is going to be even close. I think Aaron Judge is a runaway. He might even be unanimous at this point. His on base percentage is almost 500. He gets on
I
base
think at
one
this
every 2
point it's key to say too because
now in
both could struggle. I hate to say that, but both could
well,
struggle.
I'll say this. Well, Aaron Judge has a very good track record. What I'll say this. Like, you could argue Cal technically is the MVP because he is probably more valuable to the Mariners than Aaron Judge is. But also, if Judge was not on the Yankees, that team would also suck. Let's be very clear here. But I think just yeah, it's got to be Judge. But man, I would want it to be Cal Raleigh because Aaron Judge is going to do this again. This is Cal Raleigh's clearly best year that he's going to have, and that's fine. I mean, I don't expect him to have a 200 WRC plus ever again, and that's totally fine. He plays catcher. But man, like
Also, the more impressive thing is that half of Cal's games are in like one of the worst batting parks ever.
Yeah, well,
Versus
simply
Aaron
Cal
Judge.
plays catcher.
Yeah,
catcher versus any other position. Like his
right.
position is so much harder than everybody else's positions. He then doesn't get to play it every day. He has to DH some other days. He has to do other things. He also has 9 stolen bases, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's just, yeah, he's just
Plus,
it's
Judge is now in one of the easiest hitting stadiums that there is.
yeah.
yeah, but
So
WRC plus accounts for the stadium, and
Right.
that's why it still says that Aaron Judge is clearly way better. But yeah,
and I think MVP like Kevin said, it kind of does feel like a home run award, for sure. But like Sean mentioned, like Cal is on de defense involved in every single pitch. Like he does
Mhm.
more. So and he hits from both sides of the plates. So I mean, obviously it's gonna come down to numbers and writers, whatever. But like when I look at Cal's full body of work compared to Aaron Judge's, it looks better. It just looks better. So is it as flashy number wise? No, but like he is so much more involved than Aaron Judge is throughout the
Yeah.
game. Like
Hmm.
uh, there is a valid argument. I don't think it's gonna hold water come voting time, unless he surges or whatever. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. But um, it just kind of feels like the Aaron Judge's name gets him an advantage, so to speak, because Cal Raleigh
Yeah.
is not doesn't have the resume of Aaron Judge either, which is also probably slightly a factor, I think.
I mean, I get that is, and Cal's defense definitely helps him, but like one has 6.1 WAR and one has 5.3. I mean,
Well, what is that good
like,
for? Absolutely nothing. I mean, we
but I'm
know
just
this
telling you
already.
but that every number, I could give you more numbers if you want.
Uh, no, he's um,
I could give you
uh,
more.
Sorry, I watched some Rush Hour gifs for
yeah,
work
I was gonna
today, and
say,
yeah.
I could give you more numbers, but that's just like the hard numbers are Judge is just the better player right now, which is not an insult to Cal Raleigh. It's just Aaron Judge is on like a heater of all heaters right now for these last 3 seasons. I mean, just a
And
couple years ago, he broke the most home runs in the American League, and really no one talked about it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of unfair for Cal. Like, this is the year where the Mariners should have an MVP, and Aaron Judge is like ho hum like a 230 WRC plus, and I'm just like, just let Cal have it. Your on base is 500, Aaron Judge. Just relax for a little bit. Like, give him the 1 year. You know what I mean? Like, gosh.
but you also brought up like a previous year, like that has nothing to do with this year. That's also the thing. Like his
That,
past
and
performance has
that's
nothing to do with
that's
this year.
helping Cal Raleigh. If he
I think
did
that's
this,
helping Aaron Judge more than
no,
Cal
it's not.
Raleigh.
No, because it gets complacent. This has been shown. It's actually the Shohei Ohtani thing too, where it's Mike Trout. Mike Trout was winning MVPs, and his best years he didn't actually win the MVP because they're like, we can't give it to him again. Things like it happens all the time. Like people get like MVP like fatigue, and they give it to somebody else. They look for another reason to give it to somebody else. I think that helps Cal Raleigh because they don't want to give it to Judge again. Not like we find a way to not give it to Judge. It's just like, who else can we give this to?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, this will be a discussion, I'm sure, throughout the season, but let's talk a little bit about injuries. So, as I'm looking at the Mariners injury report, there are those guys who are on the 60-day IL that, you know, it's been a while. Um, so in terms of injuries that are kind of impacting the Mariners, you guys can let me know what you have seen, but to me, it seems like Bryce Miller is the biggest injury that the Mariners have right now, and it sounds like it's going to be a while for him. According to June 11th report on ESPN, GM Justin Hollander said that Miller received a platelet-rich plasma injection in his right elbow Tuesday after meeting with Dr. Keith Meister and will be shut down from throwing for at least the next 2 weeks. Hollander noted that Miller could be available to pitch in 4 to 6 weeks if all goes smoothly once he starts throwing again. So Sean, are the Mariners healthy?
Yeah, they're pretty healthy, all things considered. I mean, everyone's going to be hurt, but like starters wise, like pitchers, what is it, Kevin? Like just Santos and Miller for pitchers that are hurt, like right now, I think.
so yeah.
And then and then like bats, it's just Victor Robles, right?
No, Luke Raley's on rehab at the moment.
No, Luke Raley's been playing for 3 days now for the Mariners.
But
He's
he
hit
come
two
back?
runs.
Oh,
Yeah.
he hit a homer in Tacoma back on. Well, maybe you
He
got
hit a
caught
home
up.
run yesterday in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he hit one the other day too. So yeah, he's been back. So I think it's just Victor Robles. So they have three
What
starters
about
of the five.
what about Dylan? Is Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan's
Dylan's
playing.
back.
Yeah, yeah. So Dylan got nicked up. He always gets nicked up. He never goes on the IL, I feel like, or it's like 10 days or whatever it is, 7 days or whatever the shortest one is. So, but yeah, they have 3 of the 25. That's pretty healthy, all things considered. But Miller just needs to stay, like just be hurt and get better because he came back, tried to do his thing, and his back's. I'm like, just figure it out because like that's Kevin's boy, and when he's on and he's healthy, he's elite, and so he just needs to be healthy because we can survive right now. Hancock, other than his blow up in Chicago, has been great. Other than his first start of the season, I thought I saw if you removed his first start, he has like an ERA of like 3 the rest of the season until Chicago unfortunately happened. But so he's been fine. Like and Logan Evans is down there waiting if for something happens to Hancock. Like just get healthy, Miller. We can survive with 4 of us. Like just please get healthy, and then we'll be full bore once hopefully the last push starts. But yeah, they're relatively healthy, all things considered. Because it was nice to see Munoz come in the 8th. Dan Wilson, I'll say this, little tangent. Dan Wilson, I'm not pleased with his managing style in general, but he used the bullpen correctly today. His best pitcher is Munoz. They needed Munoz in the 8th inning, and they used him in the 8th inning. Boom. And then they got a 1-run lead thanks to Julio. And then came up and they're like, it's so nice to have a Brash back. And Brash came in the 9th. It was like, didn't miss a beat. Boom, boom, boom. Nasty stuff. End of the game. No one even reaching. And I was like, it's before it would have been like, who would have come in the 9th if you used Munoz in the 8th? But now he has the other like literal ace up his sleeve, his closer, that he's just like, I don't have to worry about it. My toughest outs, I'll let Munoz get, and I have Brash at the end. I don't have to worry about it. So that's be nice if Santos can come back and be healthy and you have 3 of those guys. But like at the very least, we have 2 now. So it's really nice to have that. So
And
they're
according
very
to the
healthy.
injury report, Santos went on the
Yeah,
60-day IL
yeah.
at the end of April. And so we're
Yeah.
getting close to 60 days. So who knows?
I
Who
haven't heard
knows?
anything, so I think it's gonna be longer than 60 days.
Yeah,
So
could be. Could be.
we'll see.
So I want to get out ahead of this conversation. I don't have it on the sheet, but I'm going to ask Kevin first and then Sean. So you're the GM. Trade deadline's coming up. You buying? You selling? You staying? What are you doing, Kevin?
I mean, the fact that you're kind of in contention, oh man, it just really also depends on play from the rest. But I think you need a little extra bat pop to help out. I mean, Cal is playing out of his fucking mind, but Julio, despite his home run, is just been hasn't been god awful, but it's not great.
My question to you comes, Kevin, is who then do you trade for?
That's the tough part because it's like I'd have to kind of look around the league and kind of because there's not
I
like
Yeah, I just don't know. I agree with Kevin. I would, but I don't know who's really available.
yeah. Um, I'd have to look at the teams and see like who's kind of in that
I
zone.
mean, Luis Robert, but I don't want him.
I
Yeah.
saw some Instagram posts talking about trade targets and potential candidates, and I saw Eugenio Suarez as a potential target for the Mariners. I saw um, Alex Bregman as a potential trade target for teams, not necessarily the Mariners.
Alex Bregman just signed with the Reds or the Red Sox, and they just trade away the other third baseman. I don't think they're going to trade both
I
third basemen.
would, no.
I don't know.
No, I want no part of Alex Bregman. He doesn't fit in Seattle. He lives off the short porches and left, and Seattle does not have a short porch. That dude's gonna like collapse like a dying star in Seattle. Does not translate. Swing does not translate. I mean, Gino, what does it take? Because as I got up Ben Williamson, but he has been much better recently, and the glove is nice now again. He seems to like mess up the more easy ones and then like makes the harder ones. So I'm okay letting the young kid get some run at third because he's turned a little bit of a corner. I feel like he's not Gino corner, but Gino get hit in the wrist. I don't think he's going to continue this pace. Like, what's the price? I guess so it comes down to. I generally I'm asking Kevin because I don't know what's even out there.
I'd
Kyle
honestly,
Tucker is on a 1 year deal, but the Cubs are going to go to the playoffs, so they're not going to trade him. Like,
yeah, exactly. Um, dang.
So what I'm
I,
heing is
I would want like
buy, but what's
who?
out there? Yeah.
I guess I didn't think about Gino, but like I guess Gino, but do I? Man, I don't know if I buy the rest of the season going as well as going the beginning of the season for him. We're gonna buy on the high. He's gonna regress, and he's gonna regress in Seattle versus Arizona. Like I just and I like what Ben's doing. I would. He's definitely better than Ben right now. So yes, I'd be interested, but it depends on what the cost would be. Because I
Right.
think before the season, it would have been a lot more. Now the margin is a lot less. I feel like with how Ben is developing and getting a run at third a little bit.
So
I
what
could
you guys are telling me is buy, but what's out? What like there's nothing
Yeah,
out there, you know. So
I'm
someone
looking
don't buy.
someone throws a Devers at you, go for it. But barring that,
I'm looking at teams like that are kind of below the cusp. Like Atlanta might want to offload some contracts since they're probably not going to make it in. I mean, they're within striking distance, but with the Mets and Philly being so
they just got to sneak in that wild card. They're so talented
Yeah,
though. They're finally
but
getting
it's
healthy.
going to be so hard though. I mean, you literally have three teams in the Central that are above that are like neck and neck. So and
They're
then
gonna play. They're gonna play each other though, so they will lose
true,
games.
but then you also kind of have the same thing in the West too. Like there's just so many good teams in the NL that it's just going to be super
It,
hard for Atlanta.
well, the Braves. Yeah, the Braves did not do themselves any favor. The Braves are the most talented team other than the Dodgers in baseball, and they're healthy now. So they're going to win a bunch of games. I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10. And they've been very unlucky. They should be a much better record than they are right now. So I think, and they all have so friendly contracts too. Ronald Acuna is
I
you
guess
should see what he's been doing since he
I
came
guess
back.
we'll just go get Bogwood Jr. Okay, we'll just
Let's just get. I don't know what Paul Skeens. I guess they're out of it. Maybe I don't know. That guy here is
oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
they're definitely out of it.
Yeah,
30,
Paul Skeens is
29,
good at throwing a baseball. I guess let's get that Paul Skeens guy. They'll give him up, right?
Ellie
right?
De La Cruz. I'm sure he's available.
They're well, like Matthew, you mentioned the Diamondbacks and the Reds. They're both above 500. All 3 games, 4 games above 500. Like they're not
Is
tradable.
that in it at this point?
Yeah, they're two. They're the
They,
Diamondbacks are two.
yeah,
The
they are
Diamondbacks and
technically
Reds are 2 games out of the wild card right now. Like
yeah.
I
that's
mean,
not.
it's June, but yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
It's 2 games out. Yeah, like I just and the Diamondbacks probably won't fall out because the Rockies are so bad. Like
Yeah,
they're 18-60 right now. That is, jeez. Like
the only teams
they're
I
keeping.
see would be Baltimore, Atlanta, and like Kansas City or Minnesota.
Yeah, I think one of those Baltimore like guys, like because they have a lot of guys that I like bat wise that I think you can make a play for. So it depends on which one Baltimore wants to give up because Baltimore needs pitching too. So you have a Hancock, you have a Logan Evans. I don't think unless they're giving up like one of their studs, I'm not giving. We're not approaching something else. We're not having a discussion
What-
about
You
in
want
the
to
other
get Gunnar
four.
Henderson? We can get Gunnar Henderson.
Well, yeah, I think that would take a Kirby and a Gilbert, and I don't think I want to do that. Although Gunnar would look really nice here, but yeah, Jordan Westberg, not he's not something like to consider. Things like that. Like Kobe Mayo, maybe got a lot of hype, but doesn't have anywhere to
I guess
play.
O'Hearn of Mayo.
All
He's
right.
very
Well,
he's very young, so it's
we're
one
running
of
out.
those. I don't think like yeah, to answer, yes, I would like to trade. It's this year. I feel like, unlike last couple of years, it's like for who and what. Like, yeah, you can bring me a Devers. I got to give up what they did for Devers. Absolutely, I'll do it. But
All right. Well, let us know what you think of the Mariners, what they should do at the trade deadline. Go ahead and blue sky us at Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think about the Mariners in the comments below. Probably be off for a week since Sean's coming over here, and then we should be back the following week, which I believe is the All-Star break. So, oh, yeah, that should be the All-Star break. So, nope, not quite the All-Star break. Just kidding. So we will be back in a couple weeks, and with that, we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics, and don't you call them the Thunder. Don't you dare.